Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Okay.
Call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock on May 3rd, 2021, at the Village Town Hall. We need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved. I'll second it.
All in favor? Any discussion, further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, back minutes. We have the minutes of the 14th and the minutes of the 19th. Let's do the 14th first. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of April 14th? I think that there are none. If that is the case, would somebody make a motion to accept the minutes of April 14th, 2021?
So moved.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of adopting the minutes of the 14th, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's hear that one. Now, we get, the next minutes is the 19th. Do we have any additions or corrections to the minutes of April 19th?
Mr. Chair, I noticed a couple of typos.
Okay,
In number 3, motion by Sue Allen, second Kathy Ciano to approve the minutes, I believe, of the April 5th meeting as presented. Motion passed unanimously. Minutes of the special meeting, April 14th, 2021.
I don't know where you are and what
it's the
your
second line on 3, though.
second line on 3, okay.
The minutes of
Okay, good.
April-
Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, now, after that,
Then at the end of the sentence, it's another April,
oh, okay,
okay?
yeah.
Are there any others? If not, all in favor of approving the minutes of April 19th, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, minutes approved. All right, highway report. Danny, do you want to start out?
Sure. So they gravel and stone in response to the RFPs. I have not seen all the ones that were sent out yet. I don't know. I only seen the three that came back.
That's all we, excuse me. That's all we have so far.
All right, so we're still missing a couple. So I don't know if you guys want to just wait till them come in for the next meeting to go over them, or.
Danny, the only thing I have on it is, I thought that we were gonna list the materials that we use the most and then send those to the suppliers to get prices. Because a lot of the things are on here we never even use, and to put these all together on a spreadsheet to find out the cost at different places is gonna be awful hard.
I don't know.
I thought, we
The
only,
materials are listed that we use.
what we use, 6 or 7 different items?
At the most, yes.
Yeah, so that's what I thought, those would be sent out to the suppliers, and we get prices on those, because we don't need these other prices.
Well, I mean, these are just their price sheets. But if you wanted to do an actual bid, I thought after we talked with Maxiano and stuff, we just did the RFPs. So they're just gonna give you a price on all the materials.
But one of them says that if it's a town that has better pricing.
I think that was on Josh Perry's,
Yeah,
and it says on large quantities.
for state and municipalities.
For large quantities.
Yeah,
So do you want to take and just put these out as a bid then?
No, I just wanted to get prices on what we use.
That's what these are.
You-
The
you-
Sawmill hasn't returned one yet, and Eastman Sand and Gravel have not returned theirs yet.
Who were, okay, it's just off, okay. Thank you.
In Coal River Material, one was sent to them. The other ones called you, Bill, and said that they're so far away they wouldn't deliver anyways.
Danny, I may be asking this wrong, but are these in a format where you can put them side by side, pull out exactly what we need from each, so that we can compare prices? I have trouble, some refer to crushed gravel and others have ledge and stone, and it was hard for me to compare apples to apples, but I wondered if, with your experience, if you can take these and do that.
I could. Some of them, what is so confusing is like on St. Pierre's pricing, you got numbers beside them that were handwritten in. You have to times that per the yard to come up with the amount per yard price. Because they sell by the ton. But we could next, I don't know, with Bill and I make up a small spreadsheet and just do it so that it's all done by the yard. List just a few items, what it would.
I just find it very hard to separate these, like, KP Trucking doesn't have a short pack.
He doesn't have it.
I know, that's one of your major items, and as I say, if you had short pack, 1.5 gravel, 3-inch stone, 5-inch stone, whatever, if those 4 or 5 are listed, then I think we could determine the prices a lot better. But unless you could break them out, maybe you can break these out.
Well,
I think we can.
Okay.
yeah, I guess, but they're not gonna send a price back on stuff they don't have, so that's why he might have had like insert back or something like that, so we just asked for a price request on all the items. But we'll break them up in next meeting, and then you can go from there. Then your Bill's got the weight permit from Jamie Gregory.
Yeah, and I had one more from Unified Natural Foods, Inc., UNFI, they are also put in theirs.
Yeah.
That's UNFI, is that what that is?
UNFI, the food deliverer, yeah.
Well, you need a motion for this, I'll do it.
Yeah, yep, and for me to sign it, yeah.
That's automatic now, I think.
Yeah, okay.
So I want to make a motion that that Bill sent out and we signed the letters from Gregory and for UNFI.
So move.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Dan, you have anything else?
Under other stuff, I just say the work schedule. We got a few of the culverts done on the Cambridgeport Road until we got rained out. We have 2 left on that road to do and a bunch of ditching. Try to do some grading in between the rainstorms. We got quite a few potholes still to get patched. Then we'll move on to some of the other roads for culverts.
Danny, there's a sign down on 35, a school bus sign thing. It's must have broken off or something. It's I think it's a little before Eastman.
Okay.
Oh, the school bus turnaround sign?
Yeah, yeah. But I noticed.
I'll check that.
It looks like it got snapped off, maybe the wind did it or something, I don't know.
Yeah, we also got a new sign. I think it just come in for Eastman Road. Someone stole that one a while back, and we've been waiting for a new one. So we're checking that.
There's a package downstairs that looks like a sign, so.
Yep.
And I think this license plate, is that Bill for you down there?
Say,
This license plates, Danny?
well, yeah, he has them. I talked to him about it. Yeah. Can I ask him one other thing?
Yeah.
On Cambridgeport, is that the Better Roads work you're doing? The dishing? No, it's not. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Do we have anything else for Danny? Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Kim here?
I am,
Kim, how are you?
good.
Okay, so you want to deal with the dog licenses and,
Yep, I'll just give you an update on the dog license. As of June 1st, statute says I need to give my report to you as any dogs that are unlicensed. I can tell you as of right now, we're down to only 20 dogs from last year that have been licensed yet. What I'll do is in the next, probably this week, make phone calls to those 20 people. And then after I've called them, your next meeting, I turn over this list to you. And then you can then instruct our constable what to do. As of right now, there's no late fees that are being tacked onto the dog license. Statute says that we need to wait 90 days from the date of the state of emergency ends before we can then apply any late fees. So we're holding off on the late fees for now. They're still due to be registered. And that's probably all I have to update you on, unless you have any questions of me.
So, Kim, this is Suzanne. I didn't quite understand what you said. I think you said there are 20 dogs that have not been licensed. Is that correct, number 20?
Right, 20 from last year's count.
Okay, and so you're going to call those 20 dog owners, and if they actually get their license between now and the next select board meeting, that's fine. And the remaining ones you'll bring to our next select board meeting for direction to the constable?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then the constable can do what he has to do. Whether we have, we really can't pick it or give late fees yet until 90 days after the state of emergency ends.
Kim, you gonna be, on for other business?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick around.
Okay.
It's just so much fun.
do you want to do that now?
Yeah, it's real short.
Well, let's do that.
Kim, on the warrants, I see the White Church request for money.
Yep, I took that off already because what had happened is I jumped the gun when I was trying to tie everything up for the fiscal year, hoping to get all humanitarian requests in and get it cleared up. And I totally forgot that they were next year. So we just pulled it and Michelle's going to void the check.
Well, I signed it, but I
Michelle cleared that.
It was.
Anything else with Kim? If not, thank you, Kim. Okay, Artie? Yep. The listing, give us an update.
Okay, I guess I was supposed to go here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
only for the simple reason so the. people
And then
who
turn-
are-
and- Hardy, turn the mic on too.
Where is it? Oh,
Right there.
Press the button till it gets green.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, and we just wanted to give the select board an update on the reappraisal. The current status is as follows. Late this week, new property values will be sent to all property owners. Included with the new values will be instructions on how to schedule an informal hearing with New England municipal consultants if they do not agree with the new value. All informal hearings will take place from May 20th through May 22nd. And they will be here at the town hall. We were originally going to do it at the Brick Meeting House, but after talking with Kim today, we're probably going to need to use a computer for different people, printing, etc. So we're going to do it right here. If there's somebody who needs handicap access, we'll do it downstairs in our office. And Kim is all included with that and the group. The following week, any changes that result from the informal hearing will be processed and final values of plan to be sent out by the listers prior to June 1st. Once received by the property owner, they will have the ability to follow the normal grievance procedure if they disagree with the new assessed value for their property. So that is basically the timing. Are there any questions?
No, Hazard.
When are they sent out the second time corrected?
We will send it out prior to June 1st.
Okay. Thank you.
So Hardy, would you kindly just go over one more time what happens between the informal hearing and when the final value is determined, please?
Okay. What will happen is they will meet with the people here. They will listen to the people, and if they are swayed in what is already on the printout that they have developed for that property, they will change it in the system. That will then get all rolled over into our system and NIMR, which prints out the grand list, the abstract. And that will occur around June 1st. It could be the day before, the day after, or the next day. But that's the plan.
Okay, I have a question, Hardy. When you send out the notice of the new reappraisal, is it gonna be like, is it just gonna be, say, oh, here it is, or is it gonna list the 3 bathrooms, 25 acres, or so?
That will come out of the informal hearing. You'll get that as of the informal hearing. And when we send out our thing, then you can, if you don't disagree, you can come to us and we can print out any card you want. We can do anything you want, basically, with the data and get it to you.
Will you be at the informal hearing, or will that not be attended by our own listers?
We will be there as well. That is a plan. If not all 3 of us still, because there will be, the plan is to have 2 or 3 people and going with 2 or 3 at the same time possibly.
So when's our May 20th to 27th?
Yes, that's a Thursday, Friday, and a
That's
Saturday.
a short window for you.
What's that?
That's a short window. We have a lot of people complaining.
I don't really think there's going to be perfect.
Do you think they did a good job? Is that?
Yes, I think.
Let's hope.
I'd also suggest that, we sent out an email this week, I believe, to the select board and everybody on the VCA, that there is a VCA course that's going to be held on May 20th from 10:30 to 12. I would suggest that everybody take that course, because I'm sure there will be at least one VCA hearing, which people will be involved in, such as the select board and all of the justices of the peace. So,
Yeah, I saw that, and I guess we have to, is Ken gonna register, or Bill's gonna register?
I would say yes, I mean, there's a link, I think Kim sent everybody the link, so all you gotta do is click on the link and you'll be registered, and you'll go from there. It's very simple process, you can do many courses that way in the last few months.
The link is there, and I don't believe there's any charge for this either.
No, there's no charges for any of the courses coming out of the property valuation and review department for the city. Anything else? Okay. I'm here for more questions.
Great job.
All right, thank you, buddy. The next is the town hall. Elevator for 88 Hill, you want to address that one? Or?
Yeah, I'm not getting ahead of anything. But when I was reading through the thing on the VCDP application, it said, before you file an application, file the pre-application, and then we will get a hold of you and help you with an application. All I would like to do is that it's okay to follow that procedure. I will not follow you're not going to approve me filing an application until we have an application for you to look at. But it is, according to VCDP, the people that handle it at Vermont Community Development Program, a very complicated and very demanding process to go through. And so that's why they asked me to do it earlier. What I sent him is an application that gave everything that I know that we have. As you may or may not know, Jeff Martell, who is a resident of Long Island, but he's up here quite often next to Monte Calvo's on the Chester Road. He helped me. He looked at the building. He sketched out a design, decided where it would go, and actually he put it outside the post office over here, but that won't work. So it'll be just preliminary. It'll be in the back of the room right here behind me in the middle, and in our entry downstairs. It would cost about between the building, the structure that it's housed in, and buying the elevator, in which they install, but you have to build the structure to house it in to their specification. It's about $130,000, including an architectural fees, because you really wanted to design well so it fits inside the building, and I think, and also the VCDP is very demanding on designs and so on. Also, because it's a historical building, they may have some things to do. The fact that we're putting it inside will help. But in any case, I'm meeting with them tomorrow on a Microsoft Teams, Sue Allen and I, with the two of them, the environmental, which includes historical guy, and the guy that is the person who handles the application, and to go over what we need to do. They want to make sure we understand everything we need to do and that we're capable of doing it, and just going through the process with us so that we can understand it. So the idea is that we would maybe apply to them for putting an elevator in this building. The other possibility for the elevator is the use of the 190, a part of the 197 that we're supposed to get on the ARPA program. The problem with that is there's no guidelines for the ARPA program yet. They're supposed to come out May 10th, which is really next week, but they're hoping to come out by the end of this week, what we can use those funds for. And it's just really general right now what we can use them for. So anyway, that's what that's about. The only thing I'd like to know from you, you can make a motion or not make a motion, is that you want me to pursue getting an elevator in here. Kim is really in favor because she can have the voting here. Those meetings that Hardy is going to have, there wouldn't be any question he could have them here if we had an elevator. And our select board meetings. True, we wouldn't be able to have a town meeting here, I don't think, unless it becomes so unpopular no one shows up for the town meeting. But we can have fairly large meetings that we don't expect the whole town to come out to, and we can have gatherings here, and the clubs can meet here, and all this stuff. And this is a great project. And I was telling Sue, when we meet with them tomorrow, we're doing it on Microsoft Teams. I want to do it right here, much like you and I did, Joe. And they'll be looking right at that, and that's what I want them to see. That's what we want people to see. Yeah. So that's in a nutshell is what I'm doing, and I just want to make sure it's okay with you that I pursue it.
Yeah, I think we should have a motion so that, just to pursue the application process. That's really all it is.
So,
Second.
Any further discussion?
So you're gonna send a link to Sue's going and building committee. I want to go on that building committee.
Do you want to go too? Do you want to be at the meeting tomorrow?
Yeah, I'd like to hear what they say.
Oh, that's easy. It's 2:00. I think I sent it out on an email. but I may not have. I can just send the link out, or I can resend the invitation, Kathy. I can resend it and add you.
If you could both come here, it'd be easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to, what I do is set the tables right here, so we're up close, and they'll be right on the screen here.
Works a lot better.
I did email you about when you said you had the application that you had to include the building committee.
Yeah.
So we were.
Okay.
Informed and up to date.
Okay, I'll include that, Kathy, thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Committee reports. Does any report from the highway committee?
I don't have anything on the highway committee.
Okay. Parks? I think the only thing we have is that the sign is being made. We cleaned up, we filled, we covered the cistern. And other than that, that's really all, unless you have something else. Personnel?
Sue and I met with Jill Muir last week as personnel committee. We are sharing our personnel policy with their VLCT policy draft. Just comparing, we're finding that quite a few things from VLCT and their plan mirrors our plan. And we have questions about certain items that were put into our personnel plan that we should this week finish that up and then meet with Bill, answer some of our questions. It's going very well.
The personnel committee, I was on the board when we updated it, and we did use the LCT's policy as a model. Yeah. That's probably why it looks so similar.
Right.
Any other personnel items? Buildings, I guess we.
Nothing beyond
Yeah.
No, I think what, future, next couple of weeks, we need to get together soon and look at how to clean up this area. It's kind of been a holding zone for stuff. Just clear it out.
This is going on 3 years. We've been trying to get this building cleaned up with all the stuff. We've made a little bit of progress now. But the simple way to do it is just back up the town truck and just put it in and get rid of it. Most of the stuff is just junk. It would really be nice to have the place cleaned up and make it look like whatever. So I'm glad you guys are working on it. Wastewater, anybody from wastewater? I'm not here, but is there anything that anybody needs to say?
I think that Matt may be on the, he told me.
Matt, you here?
No, I didn't see him.
Okay. All right,
I can just tell you that they did do the testing the other day
they did do the testing?
on that site, yeah.
Okay.
And they lost whatever machine he was using, they lost it in the mud. So anyway, but I mean, they got it. Danny went up and rescued him. Do you approved them to go ahead and send out that RFQ at the last meeting, right? Is that correct? So we're going, okay, I just want to make sure that was understood. Okay, that's all I have.
Can I ask you a question? Bill, did they give you any indication of when the report would be out on the soils up there?
No, I didn't talk to anybody afterwards. I just know they're there because Danny told me he had to go rescue him. So that's.
I can only add Matt's comment, he had emailed me that they were done, and the girl that, from one of the companies or engineers said they were really good quality tests. And very favorable.
Okay. Walker Bridge, the letter that was out, is everybody happy with that letter, or there are some corrections we'd like to make?
So, Mr. Chair, John and I had a conversation about the Walker Bridge response letter, and we have a motion to make in some points about it. that could be discussed during the discussion period of the motion, if that's acceptable?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Okay,
we'll
sure.
discuss it.
Okay, so I wrote this motion down so that I would get it right and succinct. I move to accept the V-Trans response letter as presented in draft to the select board with edits recommended by the highway committee upon review and approval by the select board in this meeting or later if further consideration by the select board is needed.
One second. Okay. Do
So,
you have any discussion on this?
yes, I have some material that I just want to hand it out to the select board to follow along. So there's your copy, John, Kathy, Sue. And I'll take this to Bill.
Thanks, Suzanne.
And there's the motion verbatim for you.
Okay.
Okay, so in the packet, I just want to make sure that the members of the public know that all of this material will be available as part of the public record of this meeting. And in the packet that the select board members have are the marked up version of the original letter, and a copy of the proposed response letter, including the edits that I'm about to recommend on behalf of John. So that's what's in this packet that the select board members are looking to. Actually, I don't have an extra one that I could give to people who are here. Sorry, I'm going to give this to our distinguished guests here. Sorry about that, Hardy.
That's all right. I know how to get it online.
All right. So, first thing John and I want to do is acknowledge Bill's writing of the response. You know, it's always easier to edit and to write from scratch. So, Bill, thank you for that. We have 3 modifications that we would like to propose to the original letter. But before getting to those, I just want to say that nothing we are about to suggest or propose takes away from the key message in this response letter. And that key message, as you read, is that V-Trans failed to communicate adequately with the select board during the intervening months between the conceptual plan and the preliminary plan. So said differently, this letter is not letting V-Trans off the hook. Our suggestions are intended to strengthen and add credibility to the claim by straightening out 3 points. Okay, now on your handout, I tried to make this a little bit simpler to follow by numbering in the markup the 3 points we want to make. So you see where the number 1 is on the second paragraph in the left-hand column? Okay, so point number 1 is Todd Sumner did not know in July 2020 that the cost of the bridge had gone up to $5.051 million. So it was impossible for him to inform us of that fact at that time. Rather, Todd and the V-Trans team knew about the cost increases as early as November 2020, and Gary LaRoche was aware of them in January 2021. And point number 2 is very related to that, so I'm going to go over that and then pause for discussion. The $900,000 differential in the this is a typo, 5.51 cost of the bridge was from the original scoping cost of 4.148 million, not from the conceptual plan estimate of 4.364. So, and anybody who's doing the math in their head can figure that out, and I do have documentation of that if you need it. Okay, so what we are proposing then is that this section of the letter read, at that meeting held virtually on April 14th, we were further surprised to learn that from the time Todd Sumner, former structures project manager for this project, informed us in January 2020 of the completion of the conceptual plan, the realignment of the bridge northerly in the right-of-way, and a current estimate of 4.370 cost estimate. Until March 2021, the town was not informed by Todd Sumner nor other V-Trans officials that the cost of the building the road in the new alignment and higher preliminary engineering costs added approximately $900,000 to the original scoping cost of the project.
And all these were agreed by Mrs. Kohler, too.
Yes, thank you, John.
That these were the facts.
Okay, is there any discussion you'd like to have on those two clarification points? All right, then I'll just move on to number 3. Number 3 is on the bottom of the page, on the right-hand side. We're suggesting, do you see number 3 on the bottom right-hand side? Okay.
It's the print's a little small.
It's a little small. And it's dark. Put on in the next. With respect to the questions asked about the reason for the cost difference, John and I are suggesting saving those detailed questions for a separate select board meeting with V-Trans and have Carolyn and Gary available specifically to answer those questions. We think it makes our letter stronger by not going into that level of detail with questions for V-Trans at this point. Also, we are suggesting deleting the following language. However, since it was withheld information, there was no opportunity to have that discussion. As we've mentioned before, it's arguable the information was not withheld, it's unknown. And it is arguable that there was a time to have a discussion about the change from using a temporary bridge to moving the roadway and using one lane for traffic. That change was embodied in the conceptual plan that was sent to the town in July 2020. So I just want to pause there and see if you have any discussion about deleting that language.
Do you want to take out, have Mr. Sumner?
So the new language would read, at the April 14th meeting, we also learned, let me back up. In addition, he failed to inform us of any savings from not using a temporary bridge. At that April 14th meeting, we also learned because of COVID-19, there were delays in V-Trans to contract out some of the project engineering work to primary firms. This increased the cost of at least $85,000 and perhaps more. Then we delete everything else between that end sentence and paragraph, and we conclude this section of the letter by saying, this failure to communicate salient information to the town has to change as this project moves forward. And Carolyn Coda acknowledged that. That is a very impactful sentence. John and I believe it carries enough weight on its own to conclude that portion of the response, and then the letter goes on as it is in the draft. And again, if you'd like to read it as it is without reading that difficult markup, You'll see in your handout, there's a edit without markup version, and that reads exactly as John and I are proposing the language to read.
Any other discussion?
A second.
No, we had that. You don't have a motion. Question is, do we have any further discussion? Okay, if not, there's motion on the floor. So all in favor of accepting the amended language, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you very much, Mr.
no amendment.
And thank you so much.
All right, the next thing is the right-of-way, policy. I'm not quite sure what we want to do here.
All we want to do is if you would like to have a public hearing on it, I just need a date that you would like to do a public hearing on amending it to take out the language about building anything else other than those few things. I just took out fences and stuff. And I think there were 2 changes. I have it here. And do you want to have a hearing on that? I'm not asking you to approve it or anything. The only 2 changes are on the second page, section 4. No person shall build, erect, install, develop, construct anything other than a driveway access, culvert, and mailbox within the town right-of-way. And that is, that's the only change to the policy, yeah. Okay, that's it.
That's the only change.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And then the only other one, I have 2 marks on it, but the other one is the date. So yes, that's the only change.
Joe, I'd like to make a motion that the highway access policy and the right-of-way policy be separate policies.
Second.
Because I'll just say the access policy, I thought we already had one of these. And all that has to do is with somebody building a home and a driveway to it, or someone's logging and you give them permission. And the right-of-way is not putting things in the right-of-way. So I think it'd be a lot easier if you had 2 different policies and you'd have a procedure for each one. And somebody that wanted to do either one of them would come in and get a form and take it home, fill it out, and then bring it back in.
All right, anybody have any objection to that?
No, I don't.
Did you say anything, sir, about having 2 separate policies?
No, but no, I don't have any problem with it. If you can get me a model, basically what it should say, there's nothing in the right of way. It's ours. I don't know what else you're going to say.
So it was our thought, Bill, that we could use the highway access policy as a model. It would have in it some of the same similar components. It would not have as onerous a down payment or application dollar amount, but it would have an application fee. and it would have
Application,
an appeal
okay.
process.
And what are you going to put in the right of way?
What do you say now?
If you have an application, the application is for something. What is that application for?
Well, so it will state what can be put in the right of way and what can't be put in the right of way.
Okay, and just, I don't want to be argumentative, but what are you going to put in the right of way?
Well, there isn't anything except telephone poles, mailboxes. So,
Oh, so, I mean, we could have a policy. I wouldn't write a policy this long. I say, we have a right of way policy and this is what's allowed in the right of way.
well, I think once.
There is one other thing that we could do, and this is really important now that I think a little bit more on it. We have a bunch of stuff in the right of way that we have, well, it's under the access. We have underground wires and stuff that they're no longer using. We need something in a policy that says, when you are not using it, it's got to go. And we're charging, if it's VTEL, we're charging a big fee. I don't know what it'd be, $100,000 that we put away in the bank to clean up after them if they don't, because they're not going to clean up. If they want to underground the utilities, fine, but you got to clean them up because we have all those things all the way out. What it would cost to remove all of them? I was looking at them the other day.
And every time we dig, you have to get filled, the dig safe, and it costs money because you're not sure what the wires really are for.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, with these suggestions, if the select board decides to vote in favor of having a separate right-of-way policy, that John and I could just meet with Bill at a highway committee meeting, hash out what needs to be in that policy, bring back the recommendation to the next select board meeting.
Yeah, I think that's the way it should be done.
That's probably a good idea. I don't, yeah.
And leave the access policy the way it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need a motion done. If you guys work, if you come up with the policy, then we'll just bring it here and we'll adopt the new policy.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm pushing for a public hearing, but I do know there's at least one resident that's very concerned about this. So I want to be sure that there is an opportunity for the public to.
There has to be a public
I
hearing.
think you have to have a policy. I think you have to have
Public hearing.
you have to have, whether you like it or not, you have to have a public hearing.
Good, thank you, I thought it was an issue.
Okay, then can I have a clarification?
You can't change this without having a, public, meeting.
Okay,
That's a duly one, and the individuals have to have an opportunity to express their favor or unfavor of the situation and why.
But if you do it this way, you're not changing the access policy anyways. You're leaving that the same as it always been.
well, are you going to allow people to ask for a permit to put a fence in the right of way and under the access policy?
Well, Bill, honestly, I think that's a topic of discussion for the highway committee meeting when you meet with us, and we'll hash that out, and then we'll bring back the proposal to the select board.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it is, and if we have to change the asset policy, we could do it at the same time. If not, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Kathy, you're doing the trash cleanup on 121?
Yeah. I've been in touch with, Peter Hayniger from Wyndham, and he has a group called Pete's group of volunteers, 20 or 30 of them. They're all retired, military and police officers and firefighters. And they come up and they, do trail cleaning. So they did a big job last year in Rockingham with the cleanup. And so now they decided that Grafton, with the dump site on the hill of Houghtonville area, they'd like to clean that up. So I have spoken to him about it. The date, was gonna be in May, but they changed it to June 5th. The 5 to 6 hours of volunteer work. They'll have a couple of dumpsters there, and some other equipment to get some of that trash. He did go up and look at the site more closely. He did find some drug paraphernalia and needles. I sent those pictures that I had. My husband and I went up on a Sunday and took some pictures. He also noted that from that site, dump site, towards Wyndham, where the turnaround is for our trucks, there's 3 other sites, dump sites. So I took pictures of those. I did get in touch with Don Dougal. GIA has a meeting coming up, I believe it's May 18th, to discuss if they would help out with either the dumpsters or maybe possibly the cleanup costs. So he's going to get back to me on that. I did call the owner with no response that has the land where the dump site is, see if he's, just let him be aware of what is happening, but I haven't been able to contact, it's Terry and Melanie Sheehan.
Yeah.
And they're in Perkinsville, Vermont. And I don't know who owns the other 3 sites. Peter said that he did look at them. They're not as extensive sites as the one in Oakville. He may consider having some of the guys pull that stuff out. So that's where we're at this point. I did speak with Roddy Spray about flaggers, and a couple of flaggers. He was going to talk to his the firefighters and the rescue to see if anybody's willing to do that. But I would like to see them paid. It's not fair for them to be out 5 or 6 hours doing that. So that's something I think the board should consider. Here again, this outfit is, having their volunteer time. I did send Peter our volunteer form that so there's no liability on our part for the town. And that's where it stands at this point.
Do you know what the cost of the town, the cost to Grafton would be? The approximate cost?
Well, if there's a flagger, usually they get $25 an hour. I don't know what the cost is gonna be for dumpsters and the weight of, usually it's the weight of the trash. And I was hoping maybe the owners of some of this property that were cleaning up would kick in some money, but I don't know. I don't know that cost. And I don't know if we have anything in our budget. But it's been a long time trying to clean that mess up. And I'm concerned also of the, if there's, where this dump site is, it seems to be an area where people are going in and doing their drugs. And that's gotta stop. It's not a safe situation.
Well, how does everybody feel? I mean, I think it should be done. I just don't know, I mean, I'm sure there's money in the budget somewhere. But it's something we should do as a town. And, so I guess we need to have some kind of a motion that we can do it.
The dumpsters go on rate, probably gonna be $800 rate anyway, not more.
Well, maybe $1,500 to do the whole thing.
Depends how much they wanna pick up,
Or how much they can retrieve.
yeah.
It's a pretty steep thing.
At the Grafton window line, that would not be that figure.
No, there's a huge refrigerator, and I think the rest of the 3 areas, it's mostly, there might be a couple of mattresses, but there's tires.
Tires.
And I did get, Bridgestone Tires they have something that we collect the tires, will come and get them, but I haven't researched that, company yet.
Kathy, are there any legal issues with going on someone's property if you're unable to reach them and get their approval? Are we allowed to go on private property without explicit approval of the landowner? I like this, I support it completely, this is more of a legal question than.
Bill, is that a passive question to you? I mean, even though they've signed the volunteer.
If I own that property, I want the volunteers to sign something. If Mr. Sheehan wants it, that's why Kathy needs to contact them, and that's why we need to find out about this stuff. But, yes, now, is there likely anything to happen? No, but yeah, if it were our property, like the village park, we make them sign a volunteer statement.
Exactly.
And waive all liability. Yeah.
And I sent that to Peter.
Yeah, and yeah, she gave them the volunteer thing, and I think that would be a good idea for the town, and they might just add the owner of the property to that thing without a name. If we don't know, who owns it. There would be some protection for the owner.
Well, we have another meeting before we have to make a decision, right? So why don't maybe Kathy can get some more numbers and we can, you know, put the final yay and nay to it at the, what is it?
May 17th.
17th, yeah.
I'll look at that, Kathy, up for the turnaround and tell you who the landowner is.
Okay, great.
Kathy, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank you,
doing all
that's
this
great.
research and getting this in front of us as a really important issue.
Yeah.
The real concern is, once you clean it up, how are we gonna keep getting?
I know, that's my next thing.
And I know we've tried to put signs up there, maybe we should put a camera up there, so we can get a license plate or something of that nature, I don't know, but, I think we need to be thinking about that as well. Because if we clean it up, now, what are you gonna do, clean it up again next year, next month, or 3 years from now? And that's the problem.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead, Jim.
Bill, if we were to get this ticket process going that we've talked about, would we be able to ticket people for this type of action?
Yes, but yes, and the police. It says right in the law that as I remember reading it, that they can just see what's in the trash, and if the person has their letters in there, they can ticket that person. The problem is they won't do that because they don't know that the guy who collects their trash didn't throw it away. And then I say, okay, then they can testify that it was him, they can blame him, and the cops can arrest that person and ticket that person. I mean, this is just stupid that they don't do it. I mean, the law is written correctly. So, yeah, but we could try that, and we might get something out of them, but we'd have to find out, yeah, that, and you just have to, somebody would have to carefully protect that evidence. If that were to happen, you find mail and stuff, then they'd have to carefully protect that. Now, what did they throw away? The bag of garbage or all the tires? I don't know. But we should, you know, if you put a camera up there, you know, and, you know, you can put a camera up there, you can pretend to put a camera up there and that has some deterrent. If you actually put a camera out there, you might be surprised who's doing it.
Right, and then we could ticket those individuals by identifying them.
That's correct, yeah.
But the cameras are not that expensive, and they, you know, somebody would have to check it on a periodic basis to replace the battery. I did that on my trails when they had 4-wheelers on there, and game, we got to talk to the guy, and game wouldn't want to go talk to him, so they do work.
Yeah.
Well, it works for speeding tickets and easy pass.
Okay, so we'll put this on the agenda, unless you have something else.
Still, did you get in touch with the sheriff on the drug paraphernalia?
Yes, and yeah, I did. And Lisa is the dispatcher, and she said, I'll take care of it. So she went up, she and Russell supposedly went up and picked them up themselves. And I don't know what they found because I haven't talked to Lisa, but if you didn't find, you found some. If you didn't find a whole ton of them up there, and if you were in the same site, they picked them up because they were strewn all over the ground according to Peter.
Right,
Yeah.
and I found 2 on the stump, and then the cat, the empty cats.
Yeah, and I just,
Pictures of them.
and I just feel obliged to say, because I didn't know how they did this, you know, Lisa says the way you do it is you take a plastic Coke bottle, Pepsi bottle, if I have to give you get all the advertising in, and you take a plastic and you just pick it up with in the top, put it in the bottom. You don't touch anything, and it works really, really well.
Anything else on this?
Yeah, I found my note on Bridgestone tires that have, it's called Tires Forward. And they have a program on tires, or maybe tires. But I can research that and possibility.
Matt, you're here. So nobody has any objection. We passed over the wastewater committees. So would you like to give us an update?
Sure.
Are you prepared for that?
No.
We're at the end of our meeting, so I mean, if you have something, this is a great time.
Yeah,
Should Matt come to the?
Yes, please,
microphone?
yes, please.
You need to come up here. I know you don't want to be on camera, but we have audiences here who need to hear what you need to say.
well, Thursday, I've met with, Time Bond at the Fleet Park and, test fits. It became quite wet, but we did it. She marked out, the GPS coordinates for the fits that we made. And she also took the new road in with GPS marking, so that'll show up in the plan. And then we marked out about 400 by 200 foot area that would cover where we did the test fits. And basically we found about 2 feet down, there was a little bit of water movement. Below that, everything became dry. And she was quite pleased with what she found. It is what it is, and we'll submit it and see where it goes. We applied 6 fits to the site.
So you have no results now, not yet?
No, it's going to go to the state. She's submitted to the state.
How deep did you go now? How deep did you go?
Up to 6 feet, 5'4" to 6 feet. Getting old bedrock. There's, bands of gravel, not much. But basically the soils were very dry above that first water table. So about 2 feet down to the first water table, it's going to move down through. And it comes out from the park. It's where it's wet, the grass is wet. So we'll follow that line back up through the elevation there. We find that about 2 feet now, at the end of the water is kind of moving across that little layer. So basically, to the engineers feel the best way to approach it. As far as the RFQ, we've submitted that. That's the statement for qualifications now is going to be coming back in from firms. We sent out to 7 firms, and they have until let's see, Wednesday to give us any questions. So far, none. And we have until the 21st for them to, actually by the 14th, actually, they'll submit their statement of qualification. And then by the 21st, following week, we should have a selection committee picked who's going to determine which firm will be our lead bidder. And then after that, we've got to make 24 great interviews. What we want to do in terms of decide to go with. And then, let's see. Yeah, by Monday, 5/10, that answer any further questions. And then by the last week of May, we should have it all together, who the firm is, and then come up with the scope of work for that second firm.
Sound good?
So we'll move on. And then Lynette Clausen has submitted some information to the legislature. So that's on our behalf. Should be good. Here's some pictures and more details on the RFQ that we got.
Did she have any comments overall? Positive comments?
Who? Lynette?
Yeah.
Other than she was excited to get the information. I sent her a few pictures of what we did on Thursday, and she's going to submit those, so they know we're working on the project.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Matt.
Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Do you have any public comment? Okay. Any other business?
So, Mr. Chair, I just wondered if we could ask Bill to please make a request of VLCT to update the Grafton town municipal information. It has the select board dated back to when Josh Hearn was a member, and it would be great if we made a formal request to VLCT for them to update that, please.
I think you do. You do that?
I did it already. I sent you guys a copy.
Yeah, Bill already did that.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see the copy, and it's still the same.
Yeah, and we have nothing to do with their website. And Kim said they get our information every year. They got it this March. Excuse me. They get our information every year. They got it this March. And if they don't do anything with it, don't know what to do. That's their website, so.
Okay, no other business? If not, date of the next meeting is May 17th, here at 6 P.M. A motion to adjourn, please. Second. Discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good, thank you for coming, everybody.